How do you spend your spare time, your leisure time? Be it the weekends, or if you have a day off in the week, or the evenings, or during the day, during the week, if you're one of these people who does work funny shifts. How do you spend it? Or specifically, how do you prepare for it? Be it tranquil, hectic, 90 miles an hour, or passive. How do you actually prepare for it? Because none of us just go out randomly and begin our leisure time. I have a routine, I always have, and I don't know whether it's something I consciously think about or whether I've been doing it so long that it's just muscle memory. Now, I spend my leisure time out in the countryside, but I think this applies to most activities. I subconsciously prepare for the best experience, because during your leisure time you don't just do things. You need to get 100% out of the experience, so you need to prepare. You don't just randomly get in the car and drive somewhere and randomly park the car up and randomly walk about. You don't just randomly pick up a hobby. You don't walk through the house and randomly pick up any book and start reading it, do you? If you're cooking, if that's your bag, you don't just go in the kitchen and randomly open the cupboards and start pouring ingredients into a bowl, do you? There's preparation. And that preparation is it's an emotional one as much as anything else, isn't it? You have to love what you're doing. You have to look forward to what you're doing. You have to have that experience in your mind mapped out, an expectation. I think we all do that. We have an expectation when we go into the countryside, when we start cooking, when we pick a book up. When you pick a book up, you don't just pick it up and start reading, standing up. You make yourself comfortable, don't you? But this isn't something you consciously think about. It's muscle memory. I set out on our walks, but I don't just go somewhere, anywhere, because round here there are lots and lots of places. There are hundreds of little walks within a very short drive or a walk from where we live. So what we do, I kind of go through things in my mind, because I've got probably 30 odd paths that I use on a regular basis. So I go through them, I think about it. This is while I'm kind of getting ready, getting Molly ready, getting my coat on, deciding what coat I'm going to wear, what sweater I'm going to wear, what hat I'm going to wear, whatever. How long we're going to be out if we've got something else to do. And I think about it. And mentally, you kind of go through this catalogue. That's the best way to put it. It's like a catalogue of things to do. And you turn the pages of those catalogues in your mind, and they kind of go through. Boom, boom. And then suddenly, one will have slightly more vibrant colours in your mind. One will make your blood rush that little bit more. You can't tell, but it does in your heartbeat. Just quicken up a little tiny bit. And that's the one that you will probably pick, because you're preparing, your mind is preparing for the experience. And other things come into this as well, like the weather, how strenuous you want it to be. And this is just the same as cooking, reading, knitting, physical exercise, going to the gym. It's all about how you feel. You tailor every experience you're having subconsciously. And your leisure time is just like that. Leisure time isn't random. Leisure time is probably more planned than anything else, because work is planned for you. The day is generally planned for you. You get up when you get up. You go to bed when you're tired. You eat when you're hungry. But leisure time is completely open. It's random. It's a blank sheet. It's a blank canvas. And it's up to you to pick the colours and pick the subject and pick the medium, like oils or acrylic or watercolours or whatever. And it's up to you, and I think we do this subconsciously. Out here now. First thing I always do, I looked at the weather. I decided where to go because we've been up here. We come up here occasionally, not that often, because it's fairly quiet. And at this time of year, all the leaves are still brown on the ground and they're dry and they're crisp, and the blue sky is coming through the trees, and there's fluffy white cumulus clouds in the sky. It's a happy sky. It's like a painted sky. So all that goes through your mind before you decide what to do. Just like deciding what to cook. Thinking of the ingredients. What kind of meal do you fancy? Do you fancy something warming? Do you fancy a salad? Do you fancy something a little bit spicy like a curry? Do you fancy a yogurt? And it's all down to this. We don't consciously think about these things. Our mind, this fabulous mind, just works in the background, like a program running in the background. And we decide. And what happens is, you get these little electrical signals as you think of things. Like I think about where I'm going in the countryside, and then something will pop. And it will be my instant decision. I won't go any further on looking through the catalogue. I will have decided. It may be the first thing I think about, but there will be some kind of stimulus to make you decide what you're going to do. Isn't mind a wonderful, wonderful thing? And we take it for granted. And we go through life and it's making all these little decisions all the time, and most of these decisions are based on stimulus, are based on the pleasure principle, aren't they? Most of the things we do in life are based on what we are going to get out of it, the optimum that we are going to get out of it, the most pleasure that we are going to get out of it. Two choices. If you've got to walk, if you've no raincoat or umbrella or anything, and you can either walk in the rain or you walk in the sun, you walk in the sun, because you always want the experience that's going to give you the best experience. And activities are just like that. The activities we do in our spare time are just like that. Passive or energetic, tranquil or frenetic. They're all the same. They're all based around the pleasure principle. They're all based around what we're going to get out of it. And they're all based around decisions that we make subconsciously before we go out into the world. In the week, for those who work, unlike me, who doesn't, it's planned out, isn't it? You get up because you've got to be there at that time, and you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this, and the chances are when you come home in the evening you have a routine, but then you have to make the meal, you've got your family to deal with, it gets late, you're tired, you just want to sit. The thing is, your body and your mind have given you the stimulus and told you, sit down, because that will be the most pleasurable experience. Make a cup of tea, have a glass of wine, put the telly on, put the radio on, pick up a book, whatever, because your mind has gone through a few scenarios. When you've had your tea, after you've had your tea, you don't go out in the back garden and start doing handstands and cartwheels, do you? It's because your mind has said basically, let's not go into the garden and do handstands and cartwheels. Let's sit in front of the telly because we've had a hard day, and that will be the most pleasing experience, and that's what we will get the most out of. Our minds, we take them for granted, don't we? They're wonderful things. It's all the pleasure principle. And we're high up here now, and we're looking down. Hang on, let's just show you this. We're fairly high up. There's a path down below us, down there, you can see it, at the side of yet another reservoir. We've got lots and lots of reservoirs around here, and we're fairly high up. And Molly is knocking about. There she is. to all of you out there, especially those of you of working in your spare and your leisure time is precious and brief. Make sure that whatever you choose to do is the thing you want to do. Make sure that whatever you do in your spare time gives you a feast on, speeds your heart up a little bit, gives you a little rush at the thought of doing it. Because if you don't, then that spare time is wasted, and before you know it, you're back into the routine. And it's almost like a waste, isn't it? Not making the most of your free time. And remember as well that when you're younger, and we all age, and you all think that I'm an old fart, but you will get there one day, God willing. But remember that all these activities that are stimulating and that you want to do and that are constructive will keep your mind sharp and alert and active and in a state to carry you through to your older years, to your later years, still able to go out into the community and interact with everybody else on their level and not be the old person sitting in the corner, wasting away with nothing to contribute to all the young guns round them. You will be active. Keep your fingers busy. If you're doing hobbies like knitting or model making or woodwork or metalwork or anything, or painting, that will keep you dexterous, because those are the things that will help you in later life to still be an active, constructive member of the community. Be active now, and then you will be active in the future. And here endeth the lesson for today. And now Molly and I are just going to drift through this countryside like two spectres. And it's lovely, and it's calm. There's not a breath of wind again. We're still getting this beautiful spell of fine weather. And look at this. We're in a lovely, dense little woodland. Molly is next to me. I can hear her crunching through the grass. Lots and lots of squirrels about. Spring is on the way. And my mind is in an active place. And I'm older than Methuselah. So if there's hope for me, there's hope for you. In the meantime, we shall see you on the flip. Peace and love.